What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I just want to talk about, honestly, more so in general about the slave buck mentality that a segment of black men in the black community have. And I'm going to use, you know, Nick Cannon especially as a case study, an example, if you will. And also we'll touch on a couple other folks. But as you guys may or may not have heard, Nick Cannon is going to be having, or is having, 4 babies in the span of 6 months. And that's like, just whoa. Um, so Nick Cannon altogether is going to have 7 children so far. And to be fair, Nick Cannon, he is not the average slave buck, if you will. He's not the average one. Mainly because he does have enough money to support the children that he fathers. But of course, we know that it takes more than just money to raise and rear a healthy, productive child. Right? Of course, money helps. We're not discounting money, but it does take more than just money. And also sometimes within the black community, there'll be a sentiment where it's like, well, at least he doing something, at least he paying something, at least he see his children, right? At least that black king doing something. This, at least mentality when it comes to black men, and ultimately using that to say, oh, just be satisfied with what you get from black men, either individually or collective. At least they're doing something. At least they're trying. Well, sometimes they need to be doing more, and sometimes they need to be trying a lot harder in some cases. But, when that's put out there, especially by black women, it comes off as, oh, you're being naggy, you're just nagging, you're complaining, you're being, unreasonable. Why are you so angry? Right? Yeah, I know the song. Yeah, I know the song that they like to sing, right? And I also heard that Nick Cannon does not, quote unquote, believe in abortion, because he is so righteous and, holier than thou. He don't believe in no abortions, all right? You don't do that to no child unborn, otherwise you sure don't abort your unborn child. Life begins at inception and sure does. And, I'm really not trying to mock anybody's, beliefs in terms of being pro-life or pro-choice. Ultimately, that is your choice. And, we did have something as far as like the court speaking on that. But where I'm getting at with this is, that's good and well that you don't believe in abortions and you believe in having children, that are that have been conceived. That's great. But, where's all this, holy shank, righteousness and all that good stuff when it comes to kind of like the activities that you're engaging in to cause this to take place in the first place, And again, you have a right to do what you want to do in your private life. I'm not really trying to regulate and say what folks can and can't do, but I'm just saying, I'm just bringing it up. Because I really don't think you're supposed to be having a kid here, a kid there, a kid everywhere. No, you're not really supposed to be, creating families like that. Kind of like these twisted, disjointed, warped family dynamics and structures, right? You're really not supposed to be doing that, And I know somebody gonna try to come through and run interference and be like, well, sometimes you get in a relationship and get married and you get divorced and you have kids from that relationship and you get into another one and you have kids with that one. And I'm like, okay, but this is a bit overboard with it though. This isn't just like, oh, kids from a previous relationship and kids from the current relationship. This is like, I'm not even sure if these are really relationships at this point, other than this, you know, yeah, come by, drive by, come through, you know, let it do what it do, right? And then get pregnant. And also, um, how about, probably just maybe using some sort of contraception, you know, like say condoms with spermicidal cream, spermicidal jelly. Or, if you're just really committed to engaging in, you know, unprotected sex, then a vasectomy, that could be something. But I think Nick Cannon, in his case, he wants to keep having kids for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's like a competition with him and like Eddie Murphy and Flavor Flav and Future and the rest of them. Right? It's a competition to see who can have the most kids, right? Right. But those are just some things to take into consideration, though. And as well, I hope not to hear in the future that Nick Cannon is complaining about child support payments like Future is. It's like, well, Future, he's kind of dumb because he didn't know that those women were using him for a come up. It's like, well, what did you think it was? You know, like you thought that, oh, it was just them being so infatuated with your celebrity that it's just like, whoa, yeah, it's Future. Yeah, it is. Whoa, yeah, it's Future, but it's also, whoa, yeah, let me get that child support check. Let me get that meal ticket for 18 years. Let me get that bag secured for 18 years, right? And then you have these folks, these dudes complaining. And that's when a lot of these dudes, like the regular 9 to 5 on Main Street type dudes, want to come through and start giving their opinion about their struggles with child support payments and how they baby mama always trying to get money from them, and how they baby mama always got something to say, and how they baby mama trapped them. I mean, they ain't know that you was gonna have a baby if you have unprotected sex. They ain't know that. They thought that, the babies came from the government. They thought that the white man brought them babies over there. I really don't know what's going through their mind, the thought processes at the time. You know, I don't know. But nevertheless, this is kind of like, where we're at as a community when it comes to this situation. Unfortunately, right? And also, like, since a lot of these women are coming up pregnant, that means that seemingly either there's a lot of malfunctioning condoms or other forms of contraception, or either they're just not using any contraception at all. And if that is the case, then it's like, okay, well, you can get like STDs and STIs and other sexual diseases and issues and things like that from having unprotected sex. Like, shouldn't that be a concern? You can catch, you know, diseases. You can catch plenty of diseases by doing that. Also, I think Nick Cannon said that he is dying, quote unquote. I'm not really sure of all the details that go into that, but he's saying that he's been in the hospital for blood clots and some other health issues. And if that is truly the case, then you know, definitely, well wishes to you. Rooting for you to get well, especially if you have all these kids here. They do need their dad to be here. But some people maybe have speculated that Nick Cannon is doing this to, like, quote unquote spread his seed before he dies. I'm like, well, you know, how about really investing in the children that you do have before you pass away? Monetarily, of course, definitely, but also within quality time, so that the kids that you do have, if you do pass on earlier than expected, at least they do have like a strong positive memory of you. And some people are saying, well, you don't know. How you know what his relationship with his children are? And that's true. I feel like, and this is just my personal speculation, I just feel like he probably is more active in, say, his first two children's lives that he had with Mariah Carey. He's probably more active in those children's lives versus the other children that maybe he had like through kind of like flings and one night stands and whatever else he was engaging in. Probably that's just my speculation. But if you do have like a kid here, a kid there, a kid everywhere, it is going to be hard to like, spread your time. It's easy to spread your seed, but it's a lot more difficult to spread your time and to give really good quality time to your kids, especially if they're all over the place. But I guess maybe they all in California, maybe. But sometimes the children moms move. Sometimes that happens. I'm just saying. And then some other people, probably more so black women, a couple at least, have brought up like the mother of these children that he's having. They tend to be like way more on the lighter end of the spectrum, on the exotical side of things. Which is interesting because Nicholas is one of those pro-blacks. Nicholas is a pro-black, but he's one of those pro-blacks that believe that kind of like they can have a black kid with any woman or any group of women in the world. And I'm just like, how? How does that work? Because the children's mom contributes her DNA too, just as the father contributes his DNA, right? So it's like, if that were truly the case, because some folks being like, oh, the black gene is the dominant gene, and like everything that the black man touches will turn black, baby. And I'm like, well, if it were truly that dominant, though, would we be able to tell the difference between people who are like fully black and people who are like part black and part non-black? Would we be able to tell the difference? Because I think we can, and I think Nicholas can tell the difference too when it comes to the women that he's having these kids with. So let's not act like the black gene is just oh so dominant to the point that we just can't tell the difference at all between who is mixed and biracial and who's fully black. Let's be honest. Let's be real about that. Like, we can tell the difference. A lot of these dudes can tell the difference, especially. But that's a narrative that some of these dudes do like to push. Like, oh, she black. She part black. Her daddy black. She black. Or either, oh, they having a kid with a non-black woman. Oh, the kid's still going to be black. Because the black gene, the dominant gene. And I think those are just narratives that some of these dudes try to push so that they are not seen as being sellouts, are seen as being self-hating. You know, they don't want to be seen as self-hating sellouts. So this is something that they'll do. And then if it's challenged in some way, then they may say like, oh, you being colorist. Like, this is when they care about colorism. You being colorist, or like, oh, causing division. The game that they run, right? The game that these dudes will run to avoid having to really confront the person that they truly are and admit to being the person that they truly are and having the mentality that they truly have, which is they think that lighter is better. And then, these dudes love to pull the kids into the community, the biracial kids that they have, they love to put them off on the community. And to be fair, it's not just the dudes. Some black women do it too. They do. But right now, we're talking about the dudes with the slave book mentality, though. But really, what these dudes are engaging in is not pro-black, but rather multiculturalism. Yeah, they'll sprinkle a little pro-black seasoning on that multiculturalism, right? But ultimately, it's just some pro-black multiculturalism. Like multiculturalism with some pro-black seasoning, right? It got some pro-black flavor to it, right? But the thing is, it's like with chips, like you got barbecue chips. It's not barbecue, but it's barbecue flavored chips, just like this. It's like, it's not pro-black, it's just pro-black flavored multiculturalism, right? And it's cool if you want to engage in multiculturalism, but the thing is, we just got to be honest about it and not try to pass it off as if this is being pro-black and as if this is going to lead us to the pro-black promised land out there, to pro-blackistan. No, you're not going to get to pro-blackistan, in the pro-black promised land, engaging in multiculturalism and, having kids and even marriages with non-black women. That's not how it works. That's not how you're going to achieve, pro-blackistan. That's just not where it's at. That's not going to work. But yeah, I think I mentioned all I have to mention. I really don't think this is something I need to go on for too long about. I think it's pretty simple and clear. I don't think people who need to change their behavior are going to change their behavior anytime soon. But nevertheless, it's something worth mentioning. There's plenty of dudes out there, both in the industry and on Main Street, regular dudes who do kind of like engage in the slave book mentality for some reason or another, right? And I know some people may say, well, that was put into us and bred into us through slavery. And, that's true. That is true. However, like, black men went through that, right? And people always seem to want to acknowledge that, oh, slavery was very hard on the black man and it brainwashed the black man. And I'm not saying that those things are not true and that there aren't things that we have to work through, because there are. But I don't see like people using this same argument when the black woman becomes like baby mama number 15 from a dude like this, or either this woman has like 15 kids, like 15 kids by 15 different baby daddies or something like that. I don't see people so quick to be like, well, slavery, brainwashed the black woman. The black woman was just, violated for centuries. Slavery warped the black woman's mind. I don't see that argument being pushed out there like that. I don't see black women being given that excuse. When black women engage in this sort of irresponsible behavior, it's like, whoa, like, this chick ain't no good. Like, whoa, like, this is not who you should, like, she needs to be shamed, basically. Not the system, not the experience of slavery, you know, not pointing out and trying to figure out, why is she engaging in this behavior? No, it's just like, and she's just, you know, a thought with no moral compass, or, just no good, right? But I think that's all I gotta mention. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.